Good evening, good evening. Welcome. I'm Afonso Zayasot of the Liberia Public Radios and LPR-TV, taking you to the southeastern side, which seems to be the focus of this year's election. Welcome, Ty Madison to Groupie. Thank you so much. Musa, Ty Emilia to Randolph Masikwe, Justina Derekos. How you doing? Of course, Mami Esther Tapimo and Dorothy Shatamant. Hopefully, I'm calling it right. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Tonight, editions of LPR TV Live with the analysts. They will be here, right now. It's 8:04 Eastern Standard Time. Let's listen to some of our beautiful Thai culture, Thai, some of the values of our country. Now, we're not forgetting my man Sylvester Bajido right here from neighboring Massachusetts, the liberal state. Good evening. Welcome. And joining the train this evening is my man Mikey, all the way from the Midwest. Good evening. Are you ready to join the conversation here this evening? Of course, no one will be left behind. Tonight, your thoughts, your views is guaranteed because I'm in charge. The Libra is being disabled here this evening. Trust me, no bias. Samantha Van, good evening. Welcome to the show. I'm Alfonso Zeyenso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. Making the news fair, balanced, and proportionate. We are not selective on this network here, except the liberal is trying, doing everything possible within the reach to transform this network into his own political purposes. And we are here to put it in check. Tano, Mr. James Tano is here this evening, joining us live. Good evening, good afternoon. Thank you so much for being part of this program. Well. The heat is on, and we are here to discuss it. And you know the traditions of this network. I am not the liberal who is here to always preach and push his own political line with the sole purpose of who knows whether there is something reward in the backyard. I have no idea, neither am I indicting him into this process. But his actions that have been exhibited on this network speaks for itself. I am Alfonso Zeyenso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. The runoff is imminent. What we need to know, what is it about, and what will the voters be checking out? We are working on the same here, and hopefully our guys going to get in the streets of Monrovia and see what is there. Welcome to the show. Good evening. I am not Oga. I am Sampusant, a Liberian, like yourself, from the southeastern side, the place that has been a concentration or the attempt to resurrect the political career of His Excellency Ambassador George Weah. Now the fee is being leveled, is being squared to 2%. And the rule says you must have the majority vote or +1, which in other terms is priority. We will see what happens. What's the conversation? We are hearing a lot of conversations ongoing. Are you part of the conversation? Have you made a political decision? What are you considering? Despite all of those multiple candidates, it's now been narrowed to 2%. So it is a matter of preference. Who is pushing my political ideology? Where do I belong? What is the future and the direction of the country? It is the decision, and that consequence of decisions is all of us. Those that are going to be participating in the process, they're going to be making that. We're going to look at the pros and cons, the possibilities of GOL to retaining state power, and also the possibility of the opposition to unseat the GOL. Making a fair, balanced, and proportionate conversation here this evening. And of course, it is the traditions of this network. We intend not to leave no one behind international conversations. It doesn't matter whether you agree with my talking point. What matters is about your country. And so we give each and every one voice or voices to be heard on this network, to express their views and their opinion, because it is about the Republic of Liberia. And we intend to keep this tradition holding right here on this network. It is important. My job here is to create the conversation, to give you the ability, to give you a sense of direction, that you'll be able to make your own decision of your own based on what you hear, not necessarily to tell you where you go. But we have folks on this network who took a position, which is okay. And that's the beauty of this network. It reflects the demographic and the political backgrounds of all political institutions and stakeholders, because they too need to be held accountable on what they say and what to tell voters to potentially do in this consequential election. So LPR is here to make the news fair, balanced, and proportional. Sadly, we do not play into your desired narrative, your political narrative, meaning we may or might not tell you what you want to hear or what you need to do. No. At times it is difficult getting ourselves in this situation, but we also understand that we have a job to do and we must do it right for the good of the country, not necessarily to satisfy these politicians, but as a conduit between the citizens' right and that of its leaders to create a fair conversation. And so we're going to be here this evening as usual. In the next 2 hours, tighten to your belt. Welcome to the show, and I'm Alfonso Zian. So let's take a quick commercial break, and I will be right back.
Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events, such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers: 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-3337, or 916-533-2048. Our customer service representatives are waiting to take your calls and give you the needed assistance. It is LPR, the home of excellent media services and your friends in business.
Okay, there you have it. Let me just turn this microphone on. There you have it. We also need a sponsorship on this network in order to continue to enhance our capacity to broadcasting. So whether you are here in Liberia or right in the USA, you can also advertise with us. It could be your wedding anniversary, it could be your conventions, anything today that is so memorable and precious to you. Let us know. Let's welcome folks in the house. Of course, my own sister is here this evening. Sister Rita, good evening to welcome. It seems to be you are drowned in the politics of Liberia now. And of course, it's necessary because everybody wants to know what is going on. It is our own country. And so we need to know, we need to keep eyes on what is happening. We cannot and will not allow these politicians to remotely direct and control our lives. Ultimately, they are just in it for themselves, for the most part, if not other than to be judgmental. That it is where it is. See how the vote is being, the vote being going, people being rewarded because of their bad behaviors. That not only to Liberia with this sort of custom or tradition. So sometimes when people talk and say, "Oh, we started this started a long time," so it's being grounded into our system. So it's so much difficult to kind of like uproot it. Like we have a system that is already established, and everyone being initiated into that system. And I tell you, Emmanuel Brown, let me use you as a case study. Can you in there to change, to uproot, to revamp that system? Trust me, you will be antagonized. Who the hell is he? What is he thinking about? Wait a minute, where is he coming from? Where was he when we were here? Those are the intimidations, those are the things that want to be wrapped around your core because you try to break through that wall of Jericho to get something done. That's how it is. This is why I am not so much as excited when people were living from one place to another place, because the probability of those same people carrying on or crossing these bad behaviors, ideas, dishonesty, not honest to their country, is most likely. Because by the time you get in there, there will be folks that are there to orientate you, they will initiate you into the society, say, welcome. Do not mind those people out there. Alfonso, Lebro, and all of those people, they will talk. Don't mind it. I don't care what you do. They will talk. And we are all human beings. Eventually, something will speak to you instant. Okay, well, listen. It reminds me of the days of former President Charles Taylor. You know, it was a government of different warring factions, and that was crazy. So, because you just there in the interim, you don't know anytime you can move, even though they have a term of reference. But guess what? There were other people who go there, man, you just here, you don't know how long you're going to stay. You better get what you can get now. The Liberian people will talk. They will talk. I don't care what you do. And that's exactly what is happening. So the excitement, the energy, the momentum that you're seeing unfolding right now, be it from the GOL or the opposition, in the next short time spent, depending on who get there, we're going to come back to the same old thing, because these things have been repeated consistently. At the end, the victims becomes the victor and the victors becomes the victim. People are now advocating, which is great. But what is the assurance? What is the guarantee that even today, if they are given these opportunities, they will set a different standards? They will not. And the reason is simple, because some of these people, they were there before. They did not challenge the status quo. They were unable to walk away, even though they were in a system that was corrupt, polluted. But they stayed within that system. They were unable to take a political risk to say, this is not what I want to be. This is not where I belong. But we see all of the chihuahuas all over the place now. They are advocates. They are people arguing for good governance, which is also good. But it's said coming from the bottom of your hearts. It's said for the good of the country that we want to see new shape, new paradigm in terms of governance. People should be held accountable. Will we see that? Is there a possibility? I am not sure. It is questionable to me. Because the very people who are part of this process, even including to the GOL, not to mention the opposition, they were unable to hold their own folks accountable. They allowed them to go scot-free on things that they did, even within the very oppositions or organizations they profess to serve. If they were not called out, if no one was reprimanded, and no one was held accountable, why should I believe then that when they become Minister of Finance or the oil minister or managing director of the Liberian Petroleum Refining Company, to where they will have the key to one of the gateways of the country's economy, or managing director at the National Port Authority, why should I rely on the good judgment of these people? And why should I even trust that the leaders were going to hold them accountable? Because they were right on their feet. They make some careless statements. They were very definitive. They were defiant to the Liberian people. There was no apology or excuses, political correctness. So I don't see the excitement. The excitement that I see, I want to see Liberians to get involved into the process, and that they should allow people to vote freely, making their own decision. You don't chastise people because to say why they are voting for this person, that person. You must be persuasive in your argument. Wait a minute, who doesn't want to work in government? Who doesn't know about the beauty of life? You who even arguing today, now, if you are called, if you are offered, and you know where you're coming from, you will put the interest of the country behind you, and you will put your interest first. They ask me, speaking in soprano and bass, they ask me to serve for my country. I will go serve. But what are you taking to the table? Is it authentic, or is it to just have riches overnight? We are seeing this over and over and over and over. So when I see people yelling, screaming, trying to bust their esophagus, I'm like, we have gone down this route before. This is not strange to me. We need to ask these people their empty premises that they have made and consistently making. They are not honest. And we all have to facilitate those behaviors. And later on, we scream and we cry and we say, oh, I didn't know. But we were unable to just question their judgment, who they are and what they are bringing to the table, for which it makes it very, 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 very difficult. And everybody defend his or whom alligator. GOL to defend GOL supporter. Opposition to defend opposition supporters. And all to tell us to make reference to 3-4 years ago. You're talking now why you did not talk 2-3 years ago. So it becomes like a visual. And so when the liberal, the guy who claimed to be a liberal, when he sits on this network and think that he's going to just say anything and we agree with him, and then he call us names, that's not going to deter all. This is how they bully people. Some of them, they were part of a political party, registered political party. They have not told us why they left these parties and they are crossed over to other parties for which they are seeking political refuge. You were with Liberty Party, you were with Action Party, you were with this party, you left now to you with this party. You left your party in turmoil, but unable to settle the dispute. And you cross those virus, you carry those virus along with you. All you are going to do is to contaminate people. But what is important that for us to have a conversation, to take a break, is about the country, not necessarily you or these politicians. They will fade away. How many presidents as a country, as a people, as a nation have we had? Think about it. How many presidents, former presidents, you do your hair count from Joseph Jenkins Robert to where we are now, not to add insult to injury, the transition, the factional, the proportionate governments. President, they are all president. History will record them. Where are some of their people? Where are they today? Where are some of them? They're gone. But what is still remaining and still standing tall is the Republic of Liberia. And so when I see people are so politically drowned, this is my party. I believe in this party. When you start believing in the party, why these political parties are not sustained, why they cannot survive, why every other election, every other year we see multiple proliferations of political parties. Do we ask ourselves what is responsible for that? This just end the first phase because the runoff is about to start. How many parties? 20 political parties. Do we know the motives of these people? Why they want to be president? Is it only becoming a president is the best solution to the problem in the country? Or are they even, do they have the ability, have they discussed those issues, why they want to be the president of the Republic of Liberia? We just empower some both men and women as antonyms for us. We give them 9 years. Some will be senators, 6 years, some going to be representatives. 9 solid years without us asking some legitimate and tangible questions. But we voted them. So whether you voted for them or not, you agree with them or not, they will be there. No one going to resign. Even if they are indicted, they have enough cash. They will hire lawyers and they will fix it. Will make noise for 1 day, 2 days. News, print, electronic media will carry it. And by the time you go low, swear, you're going away. And guess what? It is the country that suffers. Some of them, they were there. They were given nicknames, Corruption King Kong. Not me. They were given those names because of their behavior. And they exited government. And what do? We elevated them to different levels. Some from representative, they become senator. From senator, they go to representative. Because of our political attachment, they are no longer with our party. So every other thing as the date in the past now, we do not count them. We do not count it. We do not hold them responsible. We see them now as the Messiah, the Redeemer, the Liberator, because they do not agree with the government now. They agree with the opposition. They do not agree with the opposition. They agree with the government. And we celebrate that. And we say we want overall better and good Liberia. That was the only thing the Sierra Leoneans did different from us. All of those that brought carnage to that country, they would never pay politically. They never, and they are not participating in any political process. They were never to reward it. Unlike it, we Liberians, we say yes. Hallelujah. Glory be to God. You made me homeless. To everything there's a good and bad side. It came, we all went helter skelter. Some friends were calling us roving ambassador from one country to another country to get us to be where we are. That's the good side of it. But there's a bad side. These people are not being held accountable. We all give justifications of their actions. Moto are over. They are occupying strategic, high-profile positions. And sometimes donors look at these things. Wait a minute, what is going on? What are these people doing? How can we trust, rely on these people based on their judgment? That our judgment. How can this possibly be? We don't stop there. We create a rhythm for them. We sing songs of hallelujah. We glorify them. We protect them. We shield them. And then you say you want things to happen? It's not possible. We are about to go in a runoff. And the simple rules say here the persons with the highest majority of votes, or plus one, or the plurality method. You get a higher majority, 50 or 50 plus one, you win it. And the reason we are going into this runoff is multiple parties participated into the process, and no one could get that magic number to put them to the finishing line. And this is where we are. And the law says, upon the pronouncement by the National Election Commission, in 10 days, Liberians, registered voters especially, will be making their decision. And there are advantages and disadvantages when it comes to any runoff, especially presidential. It is very hectic. It is very exhausting. Resources being used, time and energy, campaign, money is being spent. Universally, there is a tendency of low turnout. In some cases, the opposition seems to form a collaboration and goes against the government. But there is another portion of it, and we are already hearing it. A lot of dues is being cut, offering, getting into bargaining chip. Oh, you get supporters. Yes, I need your support. You need to endorse me. You need to campaign with me. What can you give me in return? And usually at that point, because the one who is making a request is at a crossroad. It's like a piece of cloth between the scissors, because you are in desperation, because you are at the point where you want to get to the finishing line. So in most cases, those demands are high. The guy will say, I want a Ministry of Finance. You want to sit over the finances of the Republic of Liberia, where every agency, administrative government, budget goes through that building. I want to go at the Port Authority, the gateway of the country economy. I want to be the Minister of Commerce to oversee all of the products and everything in the country. And then you who are making those requests, and you scratch your head, because that should be your stronghold. So why you don't know, these are the conversations are taking place. And you will be surprised as time goes by before this runoff take place. Politicians don't care how do you feel. They care about what is in there for them and the country first. And so they are correct. Politics is all about interest. You protect me. Why you think billionaires in the Western world, even in the US, why do you think the Soros and all of these people, they are supporting these parties, be it the Republicans and Democrats? None of the one job, but there is something in return to protect their businesses as well, to make them to flourish. So get ready to meet the surprise and the migraine, the headache, the rise of the blood pressure. I don't expect their God to take this kind of decision. Oh yeah, you don't know politics is all about interest. Those guys are cussing one another. They're gonna be a settlement. Well, the analysts are here. I'm not gonna be like the liberal who carries on, and sometimes we stay in the back, and that's the end of it. I watch when I see the analysts, then I usher them in. Let's take this break, and we'll be right back, and I'm going to be bringing our analysts here in tonight's editions of LPR Live with the analysts. I am your host, Alfonso Zienso, right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio.
Welcome to Executive Car Rental Services. We have all types of cars that you can rent, from sports cars to sedans to SUVs. We have cars for in-town and out of town, even vans that you can rent. Very modern and attractive, well-serviced vehicles, clean, quality, and comfortable interior. Move like an executive in style. Fully AC vehicles with good sound system. If you're looking to ride with class, this is the place at Executive Car Rental Services.
Wow, so which...
Okay, that's the executive car rental services. Our analysts are here. It's time to get the ball rolling. So let's go to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Terry Collins is LPR political analyst, is here, is a strong supporter of Ambassador Joseph Newman Boyka. In the last and final touchdown of this, how you call it, soccer or whatever maritime here, right here in the Ocean State, in Pawtucket here. Closer within my proximity is Jones Octavius Mallet Jr. Senior. Is a senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR. You were saying here yesterday, Terry and his buddy, they had a great time, and it's unbelievable. This Liberia is unbelievable. But I give it to Terry. Terry was at his best. You know the Liberal already. He is that old man will not change. He loves drama. He likes to be in the center of the whole program. And I mean, I don't talk behind people. I say it. We want to start a show. But let me just tell you exactly what happened yesterday.
Mr. Sue, I like your suit, man. You look very sharp.
Around two.
Listen to the liberals. Listen to Alan.
I don't think I'm not really hearing it.
Mr. Toe, wasting time, man. We gotta move on. You want to come bring the liberal? Come forward here.
Listen to the liberals. Listen, I know what I'm. If you don't want to hear it, that's okay. See who is here tonight. Is he talking to himself?
No sound.
Are you not hearing him?
No.
Yeah, myself, we're hearing
No
you, but
sound.
we're not hearing the video.
Hold on 1 second.
The video you're playing, we're not hearing it.
Hold on 1 second.
But we're hearing you.
Okay, hold on. All right.
Mr. So, we gotta move ahead. I don't know what are you
Hold
putting
on
on
1 second.
that video there.
Hold on 1 second. Be patient. Don't get the liberal ideologies. We've got to call it. Okay, let me see here. Amos Joyce is also here now. So let's get the ball rolling. At some point in time, we're going to bring here. But let me just bring in legendary Amos George, senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio. Bon arrivé. How are you?
I'm doing great. And how are you doing, Molly Collins? How you doing?
Yeah, Mr. Josh.
We are doing
Welcome.
great.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to ask him where he been in a few days?
Hope you also doing great.
I'm
What do you
doing
mean by
great.
hope? What do you mean? The man said you're doing great, and he said hope you also doing great. What you think wrong with him? Tell us that we don't know.
The artificial anxiety.
Terry, is that how you guys going to spread out or bring people on board? What is the artificial anxiety?
But,
Okay,
I'm just reiterating. you know.
So means, Jerry, if you want to form part of this evening program, let's continue on. Like thank you, 40 Wiset, and all of you great people. Kwame, thank you for being here. Okay, guys, let's get this program going here. Pa George, good to have you here. Marley Jones and Terry, good evening. Welcome. Okay, we now know, or we all know now exactly what is up in the air. It's been squared down to two. So we need to figure out a way. What is the language? And it is good most of you get your pick as well. But in the interest of the country and to keep the conversation going, what are the two options right now? Liberians, voters. But what should be the conversation in order to educate, to allow the voters to make an informed decision? I see people, I other network, of course, is their own style way of doing things, but they still missing the mark. And by the way, let me just point out, Ambassador Boyka's speech in my own world was great. Whoever or folks that are around him that advise him to come out to just even send that to get that speech out in itself, it was good. Good in the sense it points out a lot of great stuff, willing to make accommodations. What it will happen if it succeeds, that's a different conversation. But the surface of it, how it was initiated, is welcoming. But will it be manifested into actions? That's a different thing here. But let's start this conversation here, guys. What is the option now? And let me start with Terry. If we were to take microphone and we want to encourage our guys, because we do not give voters the options, we do not give them, we do not force them, we do not compel them in making decisions, but they are being moved by the wavelength or something that is happening to trickle A and it goes with A. But we were to move the microphone of LPR in the streets of Liberia overall. Now, a level 2 candidates, what are your priorities? What are you considering in making a decision? Let me start with you, Tara. Is that a conversation? Is that good enough? Or we should just leave it with them to do their own thing?
Well, no, I think that is a good conversation because we are at the very, very crucial point now in our history. So, but one of the things is the voter fatigue. Voters fatigue. You know, like I talk about the silent voters, and people beat on me a lot, but we see the effect of silent voters. Now we're looking at voter fatigue. Going into the second round, voters need hope. They need motivation. Some of voters are going to be discouraged due to the way things turn out. The motivation from the opposition saying that, you know, we have won the elections. They put them in the zeal, and only for them to find out that it never really went the way they thought it would. And because of that, there will come in a voter fatigue. So you need to employ a method called motivation. You got to motivate the voters now, because you must also understand that there were thousands of voters that were jacked up from their various locations to go and vote in other locations for representatives, senators, and all that. Those voters will not be coming back. All right. So that means that the quantity of votes that we saw in the first one will immensely decline. Who will it favor? That is the magical question there. That if the votes decline, who will it favor?
So if we could add, and that's a great point there. If I could add a little piece there before we go to the guy, two things here. If it declines and if it goes up, there must be a both side, correct?
Right.
If it go, but traditionally runoff always it always down. You're not going to have it like in the first phase. I don't care what happened. But just to make your point, will we know who we're going to favor?
Well, if I would say either way, all right, the opposition have an upper hand. It might favor the ruling establishment based upon who did more talking. Because if the ruling establishment did more trucking and the votes drop, obviously it will affect them. But if the opposition did more trucking and the votes drop, it's going to affect the opposition.
So this trucking here, I believe the quantities, and I got to bring in people. If I'm from Grand Jide, I live in Morovia, and out of my own volitions, I decided to go in Grand Jide to register to vote. Would that be considered as trucking?
Well, if you live in Grand Jide, it depends on which district.
No. I'm saying I live in Grand Jide because there seems to be a sort of guilt pass on everybody, and we all say it, but we need to critically discuss this issue. I live in Morovia, right? But and because we talk this thing here, we need to educate our people. The reason some of these regions are undeveloped, it is the populations in those places, be it the district, the town, or the city. The populations of those places, this is how government apportions development. This place here, the population go to 1,000 people, 2,000. They need clinic here. They need a health center here. They need an elementary school here. They need a junior high school here. Our people don't know that. And those are the conversations we need to start having. You can be two town houses there, and you want them to build high school. You know, it doesn't work like that. So now people are getting the sense, right, Sarah? People from Maryland, the election coming, they are lawmakers or out of their own conscience, they decided to go back home to register there so that their vote can be counted. Now, I am saying I am in Morovia, but I'm a son of Grand Jide County. And I decided to make my vote, to cast my vote in Grand Jide. So if I'm leaving Morovia going to Grand Jide, is that considered trucking?
No, that is not considered trucking. Trucking is I'm a representative and I'm registered and I'm a representative of district number 4, Monserrado County. And because I'm a representative of district number 4, I went and took people from district number 10 or district number 7 and brought them to come and vote for me and pay them to vote for me. That is trucking. But if you on your own volition decide to go back home to register and vote, that is not trucking. That have to be doing your own decision. But trucking, and that was done a lot for the representatives and the senators, on both sides. But the problem now would be those who were trucked to come to those various places to vote, the number is going to immensely reduce because most of those senators and representatives that truck those people over there, most of them will not be in a race because you must understand only one representatives were voted for and only one senators were voted for. So most of those people that were trucked in those various districts will not be there anymore. So as a result, the votes will drop. All right. So in my opinion, those who did more trucking, they will be victim of the votes cast. So if the CDC-led government did more trucking, obviously when the vote comes out, it's going to affect them. If the opposition did more trucking, they got to go back, revisit the strategy, and do it again. Otherwise, the votes are going to affect them. So in my opinion, we need to motivate the voters because there is a sanction of voters fatigue.
Sanctions of voter fatigue. Let's make it more interactive. Let me bring in John Malley, Octavius, right here in the Ocean State. Okay, Jones, good evening. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we are about to square this out. All of the other Nyama group, the guns, not everybody going to enter the kingdom of heaven, of course. Everybody will see the glory and put their hand how highly I want to go to enter Zion. So what should we be considering now, Jones? If we're pulling into the context of both the GOL and the government, everybody say they're going to lock it down. Of course, if I'm in a competition, I also want to make sure and win. But if we're taking the microphone out there for the good of the country, what should be the cardinal question? What should be the concern? Is there anywhere or these people, they already have an established mind made up to say, this is where I'm going. And we're going to be talking about who is going to advantage and disadvantage. when we reach at this junction here, what do you need to do?
Well, there's this there's the biblical parable that says, "Seek ye the kingdom first, and all other things will fall in place." I think Joseph Barker is seeking right now. CDC has gone 6 years in power, so they got nothing to lose. Even if they lose these elections, CDC will always be referred to as the ruling party as some from one period or another period, and Georgia will always will be down in history, either good or bad president, but he will still carry the title. So the nitty-gritty of what should happen right now is about strategy. Yes, I agree with Terry, voter fatigue, but I don't think it's genuine right now. Because if the people of Liberia who voted the first round believe that Georgia is taking Liberia in the wrong direction, there should be no fatigue. If they believe that it's about time that they double up than ever before in their life, that indeed this guy, then if it will dwell on fatigue, then Joseph Barker will become a failure. So what I think we need to dwell on right now, in my own view, is the issue of two things: strategy and messaging. And going back to review where we perform poorly. How can we recover from there?
That is all parties you are talking about.
Yes. No. Not all parties.
Now I'm talking about the party, the two.
Pardon me?
We're talking about the two that are in the race, right? Is that what they are talking? What are you talking about?
I'm not talking about the two that are in the race. Because in the first place, as I said in my last discussion, I take my hat oil and my flower oil to Joseph Boakai for preventing the CDC, the all-powerful CDC, after staying in power for 6 years, for preventing them of getting 50+1. That's a victory by itself.
Is it fair to question your judgment? Because, and that's what I was trying to put here. The liberal try to define, I'm coming, the liberal were defining you, say, oh, you don't get a side, but you get a side. You say you are independent guy, but you are making a judgment that they prevent people, which is a definitive strong decision. I'm not sure whether it's an opinion you are expressing or it's a support now you are rendering to the
No. Mr. Moderator, I don't want you to confuse the discussion tonight. I'm an independent man, and I stand to be very objective here. CDC have got all the resources. They have been in power for 6 years.
Right.
And I didn't expect them for a ruling party to hold them by the neck like that. They should have come and just walk on Unity Party first round. And they said it. No. They said it. Their representative even repeated it here many times. So I'm saying here objectively that Unity Party, as far as I'm concerned, they did extremely well, and I want to thank them. It doesn't mean for Joseph Boakai. I just want to be objective from my own analysis and the type of work they did. So the shortfall, after holding the people to the legs, there are a lot of loopholes. Are they prepared to revisit the loopholes now and make sure to close the gap? I think that should be the issue right now for the Unity Party. And secondly, I'm saying that because I one of those few Liberians who are independent, but who also believe that His Excellency President George Weah is taking Liberia in the wrong direction. And I can give you so many justifiable reasons. I don't have to be Unity Party person. I don't have to like Joseph Boakai. But this guy is taking Liberia in the wrong direction. And I can give you tons of justification if time permits sometime in this discussion. It doesn't mean I'm a Unity partisan.
No, I am. My job here is to ask these questions. You have the right to plead the fifth, to pivot, to deflate, which is okay. I'm just saying.
And I stand by my word that I give them the flower for doing an extremely excellent job.
Okay.
Thank you.
Legendary Amos George. I see Terry is cheering you up here. Let's see before this program comes to an end whether Terry will applaud you here this evening. Good evening. Let me bring you here.
I hate to agree with Mr. Mali, but you can't help yourself. You just have to agree with his brilliant analysis. See?
Okay. So, Mr. George.
Yeah.
I am discussing Liberia. You guys get a political side, so all of your statements and comment here will be political correctness. You will reconstruct things like what Mali did, which is okay, that is view. Pa George, what should be the considering factor at this point in time, be it the GOL or the opposition, or we even as the talking here having this sort of national conversation here, and who perhaps have the advantage and disadvantage? We're going to go into the deeper part of it here, but what should be the conversation at this time?
Let me just buttress what Mali was saying. It has to be strategies, messaging, and
1 second.
Okay, and I know because the ruling party, we should not even be talking about this because they have been in power for 6 years. If they did a good job, it would have been just working for them. But they didn't do a good job. So that one, the ruling party now is coming to defend this thing. And here I heard people saying they were celebrating that it was a victory for them. How can it be a victory? This is a referendum on the president. 6 years being in power. If he had done a good job, hey, the people would have voted him one round. But they didn't do a good job. So barely they're into the runoff. So I don't know. What is the message from the end? What's it new? How they're going to calibrate to tell people what? Because nothing has changed. Nothing has changed from the ruling party. Nothing has changed. So what is the message? And I think the voters, through the length and breadth of Liberia, especially, let me be very personal today in the southeastern region. I don't know whether the vote is based on ethnic, travel line, and sentiment. I think basically is why it is. Maybe. Because 6 years, there's no tangible thing that you can show in most of the county in the southeast. But yet the people stay voting 75 to 80%, 75 to, I don't know, because 79, that 80% of the people are county voting for somebody. And there's nothing that they can pinpoint to. But I think maybe the only thing they can say that my countryman or he from the area, that's all. And I find it very troubling for Liberia. Because if we are to make the country to move forward, it should not be based on ethnic connection or travel or sentiment. It should be based on what the leader, the person will do or has done for the country. But hey, what I see from the Southeast, it just based on travel and travel sentiments. That's all. So they will have to, because I don't know how they're going to calibrate their message now, because they have a record. I always say they have a record to defend. So voters need to re-examine this record and see what are giving another 6 years. Will it be really worth it, or giving Ambassador Joseph Boakai another a 6-year term? Which one do you prefer? And the question I always ask, your condition today, is it better than before? If the answer is yes, then you will vote for George Weah. But if your answer is no, then you will vote for Joseph Boakai. On the opposition side, I know they made some mistakes. And I hope they should go back to the drawing board and see those mistakes they can make, what they can adjust to those areas that they didn't do the homework. But they have to be very aggressive now, because the ruling party has a cover. From what I've been getting, they are really going to people, really going after people to come to them.
When you say going after people, what, in a legal way,
Yeah,
illegal
yeah,
way,
yeah.
or what?
I
Illegal way?
mean, negotiating, try to negotiate with people. You know, they are really going. The ruling party really going after some people, senators who just won another political party. They are really trying to see what offer they can give these people. And so the opposition now we have to go back to work very seriously because our people, I would say, independent now in Liberia. For me, I don't consider it independent because the word independent is being misused in Liberia. I think we have to start talking to our people. Because most of the people will go to say the independent, by the time they elected to get to the heart, they say, oh no, I've gone back, I joined the party. So that independence for me, really, it's not guaranteed, not something. So we have, sometimes I think the voter now will have to hold these people really accountable. Because if you come, you say you're independent, and we'll give you our vote. And by the time you get to the house, you say, oh, I joined the other party. And as a voter now should start holding people responsible because you mislead the people. You can't say, I want to say independent. When you win, by the time you go to section. So they are talking to, my sources tell me they are talking to one or two right now. I know about one senator, definite, that they are talking to one senator. They are pushing one senator. And he ran as an independent. And they are now talking to, I think the ACO decision is not going too well. Because I was told the mayor's on offer, but ACO came back with something and that meeting did not go well. So the opposition now will have to work. And because the CDC is not good at living up to the commitment.
That's the thing.
And this is one of the crucial things I was telling somebody.
Right.
Because now person if he win, he's not going to run again. So what happened? If he promised you support him, and when he win, he say, oh man, forget it. What can you do? Because political thing is gentleman understanding, trust. So this is a risk. They had dropped people before. So now to go back to some people again, someone starts scratching their head. Hey, can you trust this guy? You can't make deal with this guy. So these are probably the ruling party now will have to overcome because of the past history. With the opposition, yeah, someone can tell you know what happened? We can support it. The second one, if they don't do it, the next election we can back up. But with the ruling party, no. So that is the delicate state that the two groups will have to play. And I just hope, I don't want to go after Mr. Collins tonight. I will wait after the
Why? Huh?
Liberia is very precious to us.
Okay, so no, okay, let me hold you. We can't be in two places at the same time. Here, folks, I told you people, these politicians, these analysts, these. Let me just ask you.
Ask your question. Ask your question.
Let me ask a question here.
Yeah.
Why are you repeating it? It's not going to intimidate me.
No. Master, I can't be intimidated.
Yes, Sese took a political decision here, major decision. And you have been very vehement here. And I'm going to hold Terry, since Terry and you now forming coalition. Terry seems to be the darling guy.
I'm not forming coalition. I'm just making my point clear. I'm not
forming coalition. So, okay. You originally support the CPP ANC, correct?
Yeah.
And your guy, he's already, I believe he's out of the race, even though there are some apprehension. And hearing you, CDC is not good. And based on your analysis that you provide, if you were in Liberia today, or even as you hear now, people that are listening, there's a guy with us here this evening from 72nd. I would say thank you for joining us. And I guess if I had to do a pick here, there are a lot of them listening here to Jane. Have you decided now it's being squared down? Your preference, your choice is no longer there. It's left with Boyka and President Weah.
Mm-hmm.
We have not seen you this past 3 days. Is it that you were trying to make your decision or before coming out here tonight?
No, not at all. Not at all.
So where do you stand at this crucial junction?
Look, let me say this to you, to our people. By next week, I will be making my decision. I've already made up my mind, but I'm waiting for somebody
You what?
Yes, I'm waiting for somebody.
What do you mean by waiting for somebody?
Oh yeah, I
What?
consulted some people. I've been
Where?
consulting.
Here or in Liberia?
Why are you doing consulting someone here? I thought about people in Liberia. Who you have to consult with? I got some family members. They have called me.
That they the one calling you now?
I think the one that Mr. Soul put to you, I don't think it's liberal. This one is not.
No, I didn't. Yeah, my hand. He said, yeah, you have a family member calling him. Maybe they're calling him now to tell us. Then he's waiting for next week. So, oh my goodness. Look, okay, let me just do, I think, the sort introduction here. Mala Jones.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the internet.
So let me ask you this here. You're smiling. I don't know whether you're exchanging messages and all of that. Are you waiting for somebody to as well? Or
I think the thing that caused Pat George to stay away, I think is dependent on the people he's been waiting for. And apparently they are delaying, so he had to come,
No.
we got to give him the benefit of the doubt, because people who are already in political party, and fortunately their dining room table has been relocated. We got to know now which of the dining room table they're going to pair with. So we got to give Pat George chance.
What kind of chance? We're talking about runoff in a couple of weeks, and you're talking about giving chance. He's supposed to start the message right now if he wants to be on the.
Mr. So, actually next week I will be making my pronouncement. But I have talked to some people very close to mine, and
what are they telling you?
Oh no, what they're telling me is I'm
So
interested.
let me ask you here, because this is interesting. We are on an obligation to be very clear and precise to our audience. It seems from what I'm hearing you, somebody is trying to persuade somebody. What is that? Are you between two decisions? To stand your ground that you have made in the past, and they say, okay, you need to change now because we are no longer there, or what?
No. I'm the one they are looking up to me to say, hey, and I told them, y'all hold on. Give me next week. I will tell you people what I will be what I will be doing for the rest of the week. But I can tell you, Liberia is at a crossroad. The less of the two evil, we got to take the less of the evil. So that's why I just leave it like that.
Who is the less of the evil? Don't be speaking.
No. Because Mr. So.
Okay, all right.
We're not going to don't go back and forth on that. All I just said, we are at a crossroad, and I don't want to come to do what so many people are doing. I see some people from the opposition seeing some crap to some other people, and I don't know who advising them. People don't talk to this, but this is not a time to start going after people who disagree with you. Focus on your re-election. Focus on your re-election. But I see some opposition going after other people, this and that, because people disagree with them. Hey, leave those people. Focus on your campaign. Focus on your re-election, because those people might be distraction. And maybe that's why I would say you may need everybody. Right now, you need everybody. Okay. Terror, yeah, I used to take terror. Right now, you need everybody. That is what someone all saying. You start engaging people. They may disagree, but start engaging them, because you don't know when you're going to need them. But some people will show 100%. Hey, this thing is in the basket. It lack.
Who are those people you're talking to?
I mean, I said some people. I mean, everybody, like Mr. Terrier told us that they will show when this thing, Samson Bakuto, they will show. Ke Hassan King, he said they will show. So, I don't know. And some of all, Mali and others, we spoke on data. We said, based on the data, this thing cannot be one round, because we saw a pattern, 1, 2, 3. So until that record change, we cannot say that and say this will happen. What we'll use is the past record we'll use for reference to make or to form our decision we are making today. And we can improve us, right? Nobody got 50%. So people,
Okay.
when they were talking, they should have been taken in mind. But no, some people didn't want to listen to us. And the worst thing they did, they play on the voters. They play on the voters. When they put the voter under the impression that this thing was slam dunk, either side. And small saying no, tone down this thing a little bit.
Are you upset by their being disingenuous, not being honest? Are you upset?
I know. I would not say upset. The word upset, I don't think would be a good word for me. But I was a little bit, based on the facts, I was a little bit surprised and then making my judgment because the fact.
All right. So let me come to Malice and I'll go to. We have to discuss it strictly across the board to give everybody time because our viewers, our listeners, there's a diverse group. There are some people, there are some independent mind folks like Mali, if he's independent. There are some people who support the opposition. There are some people who support the GUL. So with your independent mind, as alluded here, what is the possible means? Do you think the GOL can maintain state power, Mali? Do you see any possible means for GOL to maintain state power in the runoff, winning the election?
My answer is yes and no. Before I answer the question yes, let's go back to 2017 presidential elections, the first round. In 2017, the first round had 38.37%. His first round in this election has gone up, and that's a plus for him. And Buakai in the first round had 28.76%. This round, he had 43.44%. So they all may gain in this 2023 election. Okay, but Buakai gain is more appreciative because we are 43.84 according to data observer result for NEC, and Joseph Barker have 43.44. That's a serious gain right there as compared to 2027. So the question now is, what did they do differently from 2027 that gave them this gain? You see, so if they go back to what they did differently, then I think it was a good strategy. Yeah, it was a good strategy. But if you see the difference of 7,361 make the difference between President Weah and Ome Buakai. So since the difference is so small, assuming Weah had won and the difference was 7,361, trust me, Unity Party will go to court for recount. They will definitely go to court because it's minute. So what Unity Party did to amend her number as compared to what happened, they were down in 2017, they need to maintain that strategy and improve on it. Yes. But again, like what this guy said, Pajor said, the tribal thing, yeah, maybe intellectually we say it's not good, but it's one of the cornerstones in our country. We can't just do away with it. Okay? I may not have the evidence. I don't know how much what Joe we have done for the people so much in the Southeast. They still getting that vote. And it happened in 2017. It's repeating again. Yes.
This is a conversation here, and part of that is
we cannot rule out that tribal factor up. But what I noticed here, moderator, is that the tribal sentiment I see in Joe direction, I don't see that tribal sentiment in Joseph Boakai direction from Lofa County from my own assessment.
Meaning?
Because the amount of vote Joe told from Lofa County It's not equivalent amount of vote Bwakato from the southeast. So there's a problem with our traditional loyalty to Joseph Boakai in Lofa County and Bapolu. In my own opinion.
So how have we tried? Let's have an honest conversation here. And of course, your argument is pretty logical because we look at the last election result, the voting. But Terry, let me just bring you into this conversation here. Are we also looking at on the other side of the coin why the people are voting the way they are voting? Are we giving them the opportunity to have their side of the story, or is just based on the data we have is quite sufficient? We can run a judgment. But are we asked why is it? Anybody sat with them on the dining table, on the whatever table, and decide to go to the inner part, to the bottleneck of it, to get a sense of why is it happening like that, why that consistency is there.
Yeah, Mr. So we don't have to ask them because obviously they will not be able to explain. But we can deduce based upon our culture as to how they are voting and why they are voting the way they are voting. Because you and I know, as we have been rooted in the culture, once there is a cool man, the president of the country, most of the people from the southeast or the cool people will vote for that person. If it's a Gil man who is happen to be the president of the country or is running, the Gil people will vote because why they will say our own man is going to be president or our own man is president. So voting for that person gave them comfort that they have somebody that they can rely on, that tomorrow if they fall in trouble, they can run there and say, oh, but you know myself, I'm a cool man. And maybe based upon that, if they go to court or something, they could escape just because of that tribal line. So you got to understand that too. Voters feel comfortable with their own. And because Liberia is divided into 15 counties, it brings pride to a county if one of the sons emerge to become standard bearer or president for the country. So obviously they're not going to abandon. And one of the things that I listen to Minister Fagon and other guys are always talking that I do not think is a good strategy is to begin to align all those government officials that are from the southeast. When they continue to do that, it will motivate the people in the southeast to vote for to vote for president. We are more. And the reason is simple.
That's a very valid point. Why? Why is a poll strategy in your view?
The people feel attached. The people feel that if President Weah can select us from the southeast, we cannot let our own people down. Even if they don't do anything for us, if we let these people down, it means that we're letting our own down. And if we let our own down, they have to change tomorrow. They will say, okay, let me look back. These are our own people from among us. So why would this man be denigrating our people? So in my mind, I think he talk a lot. In as much as I admire him, he's a good politician and analyst and all of that. But when he begin to hide that, to me, it shows some level of trying to denigrate the Southeasterners for voting for their own. And I don't think that is a good approach when it comes to the political, when you're trying to gain political advantage. You don't need to do that. All right? You already know what's going on already in the government. That is not your message. Your message should be, what have these people done for you? All right? What have President Weah done for you? All right? He been in power for all these years. What have he have not built any rule for you. He have not done this. He have not done that. But do not start to give the people a highlight of how many of them is in the government. When you already know that it is because of their own that they voted for him. So you can't do that. To me, it's not good. On them, you're making them to feel that they and I listen to them and say, oh, what if the Southeast people voted like this? Then our own people should vote like that too. If you do that again, that is another wrong message. So what if the people of Bon County decide to vote for their own, which is Joel? What if the people of Grand Bassa County? So if you try to bring in tribal sentiment into this whole political arena, it's not a good strategy because they're going to tear you apart. Because you must understand that you got Koji in Lofa. You got Koji in Lofa. He will spoil the people mind in Lofa. You got Thomas Fala in Lofa. He will help to spoil the people mind in Lofa. All right, that will put him in your votes and all the kind of thing. So even though the Nima votes were good, they are appealing, but you cannot rely on Nima County only. It's not sufficient for you to win and gain advantage. And Montserrat County is mixed up with a lot of different tribes. So you cannot fight a tribal politics and expect to win if you want a government of inclusion. You know what I mean? You're preaching your message, you are contradicting yourself.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I do not buy what Eugene Fagon is doing in this particular regard.
And Terry, I think that's a very critical point. And these are some of the things, and sometimes people talk, and if Ambassador Boycott wants to succeed, not just only Ambassador Boycott, anyone who wants to govern, in the first place, whether we like it or not, you hear, I hear, those who are watching it, anything security comes first. Security is not only necessary your safety, but when you have a family member who is in government, what are they getting? Or what are their benefit is on the national level? That is a very minimal part other people take into consideration. But they are thinking, oh, I have Terry here is in the government. I have Mali is in the government. And here what they are talking now. What will become of me tomorrow if Mali is removed from the picture? Who will stand for me? I'm not talking, I mean, it's reality. And I understand nation come, but it's the reality. And I remember the 1985 election. I'm talking real thing. There is so many ways, and I'm not saying what I'm saying, that's not what this government do, but the probability is also there, begin they have the right to do it. If you have a superintendent here, you have a city mayor, all of these other municipal government commission on this and that, who are they working for? They're working for the government. Do you think they will come out broadly to campaign or canvass against the government when they know at the end of the day they will be jobless in most cases because the opposition, when there's a change of government, in most cases the administrative functionaries, other position change. People can capitalize on that. So this sort of message of always grouping people, the way this group of people can, okay, the way this group of people can support this, that's what prompted me to ask that question. In as much, it might sound ugly in people here while they are voting, but who has gone there to say, hey, wait a minute, we need to have a conversation. And I think I said that the other day. You need to go there and point or say what you can do. I don't think within this, there's no enough time. There's nothing that no one have not said in this whole campaign to go tell people, oh, people die, people this and that. Those are all songs religion. I am not saying they are not important, but it is time now to give a persuasive message to somebody why they should vote for you, because they know about it. Harmonization, no harmonization, 15 billion, 16 billion, whether it is true, it is not true. People die, allegations, investigations, whether they get result, they not get result. You think the people don't know? Is that what people, because when you continue to really get these sort of messages, the probability of other people saying, oh, wait a minute, these are all hate stuff, and I know you're going to come in. Jared Cummings is visiting all here from the Sister Network. I'm going to be breaking in. Amos George, go ahead.
Yeah,
Tell us about something.
Let me say this. Let me say this to you. Politics as a whole is travel. Politics is travel.
Right.
Politics is travel. All over. It's travel. Because it is travel, this is how we vote. If you're telling me politics is not travel, why did you got out to vote from the Southeast? It's travel. It like this that group fee. This is our people. We have killed. He had killed elephant meat. So it's not time for us to get our share. And exactly this is what they're getting. The point you put on security, I understand it. But the reality is we have to call it what it is. The opposition can blend the message. Look, I understand all these things. We are not here to come after people because they come from the region. We are talking about what we want to do for you. You can point it out, but you have to say, hey, this is what we want to do differently. I know I don't speak your language, but I feel for you. I want you to trust me. This is what I will do for this. This is what I will do for this area. But at the same time, you have to point out what people from there, from that area, what they had done also. So you can't just because, oh, if I talk to the people, they will feel about the security. No. You know, you're not telling them in the frying pan or in the chamber. No. You just want to tell them, hey, I can help you if you give me the opportunity. Because that's why they go to the people and knock their chest. I'm your son. But if you're my father, you cannot feed me. And my stepfather is taking care of me. Who do you think I will look up to? Or my stepfather who's trying to help now? Look up to my stepfather. Because my father is not feeding me. So these, I think, the only thing is we should not take it personal. We should not take it personal. Because look what happened. But fortunately, Harper said it. He was defeated by somebody. The people that look at him, they say, oh no, you've been here 6 years. Oh, how many years? You got to go.
Right. He been there since 2005.
Okay, they look at him, they say, hey, you are not the Lord. It's time for you to go. They let him go. So you have to give the people hope. Not just talking about all the people from the area. I'm one of the who I said the Georgia government is Southeastern government. When you say I'm being tribal, I hate for them. No, that's the reality. The only thing I can say differently, and I think the opposite will be doing is, yes, we understand, but there's still hope. We're not going to throw people, or we don't want qualified people. It will win. You are qualified from this area, you will be represented. As compared to
let me ask you here quickly.
Yeah.
Should that be the arguments of those stakeholders as well? Like stakeholders, the principal players, should that be their talking point? The Southeastern people, they are playing the tribal politics. Should that be the message?
Oh, no. I'm not saying that's what I said. I said I have said it. But if I'm on the other side, I'll make a contrast.
You support a side. If your side is not saying that, do you see that as a contradiction in what you believe in and what they are projecting?
No, it's not contradiction. It's fact. The government is the government is made majority are made of Southeastern region. That is the facts. You can't argue that.
I understand. What I'm saying is this is where political ideology comes in. Yeah, so I want to know which segment do you support?
Oh, I don't support people who try to taking the country in the wrong direction, because you cannot have a government and you have one group of people in 90% of the position. That is not fair. It's not fair, because you have other ethnic groups in that very party. As I said to you, how many ministers from Bonkane enjoy we are government? No, there's no minister enjoy we are government from Bonkane, being the largest tribe, the better tribe. There's no minister there. But that's how you choose to run your government. But you think it is a right thing, and you got better people, you got a vice president from there. You think it's right? No. But it is the time. I have the time to run it.
So
but I'm saying you can point that out, and at the same time give the people hope. The security is the hope to say, look, that's why with all this, I need your vote. I will make the difference.
Right.
This control will work in my government. Once you are qualified, I'm saying that's the argument the opposition should be making. But you cannot say you will not point out. You have to point out it's a reality. People might not like it, but that's a reality.
Okay, thank you. Let's welcome Gerald Cummings. She was the predictor of the guy who always forecasts what's going to be happening. Yeah, we are Gerald.
So you got to address him as a prophet.
What trouble you want to say that? My man, where you want to come from with
anyway, sorry.
Prophet. There are so many prophets out there. I know Cummings. I don't get between this guy myself. Cummings, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. So.
No, the other prophet in Ghana.
You see there. So,
But Joe, why you get problem with the prophet with men of God? Why?
No. You see, Collins, don't say something that you don't know.
Sorry, I'm meant to be personal.
No.
Let progress.
I have a problem with men of God. Yeah, there are some men of God I got problem with. Let me modify it. There are some men of God I got problem with, but not Jerry Comey.
This guy recovered. Don't send him to recovery process. Okay, Cummins, let's have a conversation here. Good evening. Good to have you here. Look, we have reached the zenith of this whole thing. From 20 is being squared, narrowed down to 2. And I'm looking at the possibilities of both sides. I want the good side of Liberia. I want Liberians, the electors, to make an informed decision. Sometimes we talk, we say things here because we are politically mind-driven on certain issues, and we don't take a holistic approach on why things are happening the way they are happening. We are not finding the solutions. We find a temporary solution. What should be the conversation now? If the opposition, and I'm going to put it into 2 different forms, the opposition, if the opposition or if the unity party wants to win this, what do they need to do? And on the flip side, if GOL wants to maintain state power, what should they do?
Well, firstly, let's look at the issue of the Southeast. You know, in 2005, during the campaign stages of the election in 2005, Milton Tieji at a kindergarten graduation program said, nobody should vote any quiet person in this country. No quiet speaking person should be president in this country.
The same very place he comes from.
Yes. So you see, I always tell folks that you have to be around to understand the players to know the game. But George talked about messaging. Colin said the same thing. Mr. Marley said the same thing. But here is what most people from the Southeast don't know, especially as it relates to President Weah from Grand Creek County. The whole thing about President Weah being, that he is a son from Grand Creek County is a myth. That's not a truth.
It's a lie, and you know it, Reverend.
It's a serial myth, and that's what I got problem with the guy who wrote the book on President Weah from Front Page Africa. I mean, a big-time journalist will not do his research very well in that book to talk about where President Weah came from as it relates to ethnicity. You see, in this election, we do not promote the issue of ethnicity, but Liberians don't know. I'll give you a history of President Weah. President Weah, the lady he claimed is his grandmother, her name was Jirale. Her father was Kron. Her father is Forke, or was Forke. That's why you see the guy, the Forke Kron. And that lady is like you, Mr. Soul, living in Toastown, having to see this young woman with children catching some tough time, decided to take one of her sons to help her with that son. President Weah is no way connected to the late Jirale. It was not his grandmother, okay? Not a biological grandmother, but maybe a grandmother who reared him. So if Jirale was his grandmother, let him show me his uncle or his father's brother or his father's father relationship to Jirale or to Kron or to Forke. So Blamo Nelson, we said Blamo, Kofa, how do you call him? What the other guy think? Kofa. Fonati Kofa. All of these people have helped to pump the lies, groom the lies, and feed our people with it. The old lady Jirale was from Claratown, and she was a Sastan woman. George Weah is not from the Southeast, especially to be precise, a crewman. Let him show me his father. I've asked most of the old crew people, prove me wrong. I gave you his grandmother name, his grandfather, the mother father's name, the father's name. I just named all three of them. That tells you that I know deeper history as compared to him. But the reason why the people in that region or the Grand Cru era, the Sano era voted the way they voted is simple. They bought the myth.
Yeah.
In our tradition, if you say you are coming from this town, you as a son of this town must be able to do something that your people, we can see a clear reflection of you as a son of this town. Nothing. So the people, that place is not accessible to good radio station. In Grand Cru County, the radio station that is in Grand Cru is pro we are. And most of the people over there bought that myth. They bought the myth big time that this guy is indeed a son. But show me something then. If I was from Sepu Hill or from Cape Palmas and I'm going home, there must be something. So I don't want people to promote, the issue of ethnicity or regional politics, because in that end, it will not work. Just fine-tune your message. Maybe I noticed that all the parties blunder. Their propaganda machinery, they blunder in terms of publicity. All of them blunder. Nobody was doing jingles in the people tradition or the vernaculars. Nothing. No newspaper. They were not balanced in dealing with radio stations. They were selective with the kind of radio stations they dealt with. And the sad thing about it, when you look in the Unity Party, and I know former media executive, and they themselves too were biased. When you come to the commissar, which of course I briefly work with them, when you tell them in terms of how to go about the Liberian media to operate in terms of publicity, they too blunder. So will they recover from some of the mistakes they made and fine-tune their messages and start throwing stones like Milton Tiaje? What Tiaje said in 2005, he paid for a 2023 election. He just paid for it big time.
Oh, they beat him?
He was donkey. So with that, to expand on that, is it fair? Because when you want to be president, and let's look at the other side, we got to sort of square this out here. The presence of Unity Party in the last time around was not heavily focused in the Southeast.
In the Southeast, yeah.
Because there was this sort of mindset that his place. Even though when you believe someone, when you believe that this is a person's stronghold, what you can do is to go in there to see whether you can chip the gap to why the diminishes strength is number. That wasn't done. This was a consequential one again. The vice president, and we know the rules are bad. I'm not sure what's going to happen this time around, because people render judgment on varieties of reasons. Oh, I would say Comey didn't call me. I would believe I didn't get a phone call from Terry. Without me even asking whether even Terry 2 was well, or Terry 2 had his own little thing going on, right? I didn't find out. And it's just like that. And it's kind of, there's a repetition with this sort of thing here. And then hearing this other talking going on, like what we all been talking at, and people are not preaching to say, hey, no matter what, go there, let them hear from you. Let them hear and deny you. Then you have made your case.
So here is something that we need to know, right? I'm not from Grand Bassa County, but I speak Bassa very well. I'm not a Mandingo, but if you speak Mandingo or Soso around me, I would not go in depth with you, but I would be able to say something, right? If I was selling a Nokia old version and the latest Nokia phone, and your area where you sell is your stronghold, I must be able to go there and tell people about the durability and longevity of my product. No matter whether it is your stronghold, how do I change the message to get there? Take, for example, 1994, 95, there was a serious outbreak of cholera in Grand Bassa County. I don't speak Bassa well, but I was working for MSF France. And we were doing posters, we were doing jingles, but the people were not getting it. We decided to do a dramatized monologue in the Bassa vernacular. Mr. So that was able to help the people to alleviate the death rate between the government school, the demonstration, the St. Peter's Clavers, because it was another displaced camp, and in Mowe and few other districts in Grand Bassa County in terms of cholera. We were not Bazolans, but we saw that something could catch the people's attention, their dialects. So if the South region, the Southeast rather, is President, so claimed President Weah area, then find a Pa George or a Mr. Collins who has influence on his people. Find people in that end. Carry your candidate, go market your candidate, change the dynamics, change the narrative. Our people are easy to deal with, provided if you know how to operate with the people. You can't go to the town and Alabisha. You got to do the thing what the people doing in the town.
Okay, you got to do the thing that people are doing in the time. Let me bring in Jones. Jones.
I want to push back on Mr. Cummins' historical analysis about Weah birthplace.
Yes, sir.
As compared to what's going on right now. It would be counterproductive if you take story like Weah is not part of the southeastern county, his root is far from there, the kind of analysis you make, trust me, you will be chased out of that place. You will be chased out of that place for two reasons. One, illiteracy. Illiteracy force would force you to get out of that place. And even if I were a senior public relation to any opposition party, I would not even allow them to play around that terrain. Because that thing, the people have processed it down into their soul that Weah is one of them. So even you go there and say it's a myth, people will just laugh at you and say, where have you been? That's the first question they're going to ask you. In fact, they will even blame you of being somebody coming from the United States. So thank God you brought our story. I think that story is for the intelligentsia for us to listen to and play with.
No, Mr. Malley, I'm not using it that somebody should go there and say during this election season and use this narrative. It's just to inform those who run it with the narrative that indeed he's from there.
Yeah, but then there will be counter narrative to challenge your narrative.
No, but if you go and use that now during an election season, that's not the time. If you wanted to use that, that was then, not now.
Very good. It's not only then, but from the time this guy grew up, those myths have been around. How many people believe it?
Okay.
It left with them. But here is the issue. The issue, I think you brought another salient point here that I think the Unity Party could make use of. And the issue of always taking a contingent of campaigners from Moravia who don't even speak the people vernaculars.
Right.
Probably we can now begin for this phase 2, recruit campaigner in Rivers's who speak the language.
That's it.
And stay there until round 2 has begun or it get ended there. You see, because the problem now is Weah did not come from Bassa, but he went there and fishing and got a lot of fish from that place, but he now a Bassolian. All right. So the question now is, the whole thing is confusing because I realize that politics actually is not tribal politics going on in Liberia. No. It's the politicians that are transformed it into tribalism for their own gain. You see? And at the end of the day, I think it works hand in hand. It's working hand in hand with systemic illiteracy in Liberia. So people quick on falling to certain things because I don't understand why honor this son. Someone didn't do anything for you, but they still want to vote for you, even though they think you one of them. It happened even when Charles Taylor was coming. When grown-up people were singing, you came apart, you came apart, I'll vote for you. BBC
Can
was
you lower your monitor? We're getting a feedback.
right? So illiteracy is playing a major role in this thing, to be very frank with you. If what you just introduced have been discussed ever since from the Genesis, I think it was going to have some impact, especially by those who there. If the people that are living in Southtown, that group people carrying the kind of narrative, say, look, we got to correct you, this is this thing. They will listen more than you and I. And I think it will have an impact. But I think the people have processed it to the extent where bringing it on now may create a firestorm.
And then, Mr. Mali, just to buttress, people in the intelligentsia, what they are doing is that they're shifting blame and saying, oh, the crew people. But my mother is a crew woman. My father between Grand Crew and Maryland. But if you run with this kind of narrative, then you are going back to the 1980s as far as the 2003. Okay? You're going way back.
Let's pick up some quickly here from our viewers and followers. Good evening. So welcome, Aaron.
I'll be joining you later. I'll be joining you later.
Yes, Aaron, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, so how you doing? How you guys doing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to make a comment to what the panel said. I don't know his name. I think you're new panelist on the show. So first of all, let corroborate his story first. I don't know where he's coming from with this story that George Weah never came from Southtown, so it's a myth and stuff like that. Number one, George Weah got to know Fanati Kofa when he got into politics. So Fanati Kofa will not sell George Weah's story to the people that he come from Southtown. When George Weah became the world best player in 1995, I was on the national team with him. Okay? There were international journalists who came and went to Southtown, Grand Crew College, the village that he grew up in, the church that his grandmother went to, the friends that he grew up with. Joey always told his story. I'm not going to come and talk about what he said about his father and stuff like that. I'm not going to talk about it. I know about it. But Joey is from Southtown. So you should start with that story. That's the same story, but on the class we know that. I believe he said that story to the class we know that. So I just want to correct that. There's people in Southtown who can corroborate the story about Joshua came from Southtown. It's not a myth. His grandma is Jaya Pokekron, and he's from Southtown. We know that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
But Mr. So, can we ask him a question? Can we ask Aaron a question?
I think we can make comments, analysts. You don't want to get into it.
Okay.
They have the
right. I just wanted to know whether if he can name President Weah father to us. Maybe because he didn't say the name and the mother.
The president now will be talking about people father. I'm looking at the criteria why we should re-elect him, why we should elect.
Yeah. But I just wanted to get, because he's trying to denigrate, that the story, Prophet Gerard is making is not true. So if it is not true, can you give us the real story?
Guys, he says from Southtown. Let's leave it as it is. We can get into it. Cummins can speak to that. Let's go to this number here, 832 number 1441. Good evening, caller. We were talking about this. What should one of the parties do to obtain state power? Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Apostle, how are you doing this, Ambrose?
Good. Welcome, Ambrose.
I'm going to go straight to Cummins. Also, Cummins should be ashamed.
To not go be you.
The is not female, or the Weah is what
you put fire down.
You should be ashamed of. When you are talking to someone that's 54 years old, to know his history more than he, or know history more than he. They see when you criticize the Weah, you say You're Congo man, and you got from Nigeria.
Oh boy.
Well, let's stop that type of stuff. That's a cheap politics. Well, because it's no way a unity party can even win election because they've already burned a lot of bullshit. If you watch Mariah and Tina, all of them posting the insult they rain on them. So now you gotta go apologize to all those people that you insulted.
Okay.
And before you can even
okay.
Hello?
Yeah, hurry on. Let me get to there are a few people on the line, so we'll go to it. 30 seconds.
So if folks travel lot, what Joseph Parker has done for Lofa to vote for him the way they vote for him. He's been in government for 42 years. What he has done for Lofa still vote for him to almost 65%. And Babalu voted for him. What he has done for both of this county. So, the politics, that's look at what he can offer or what he has done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
let's go to this number here, 980 number 6339. Good evening, caller. What's the name and where you calling from?
Good evening, Mr. So, my name is Victor.
Yeah, Vic. Good evening. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yes, so
people quick to get distracted. We are talking about what these people should do to win without get to may come from Southtown, may not come from Southtown. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my point I want to make is with regards to the pathway for the Unity Party. So, first of all, in the first round of the election, I guess Terry said the Unity Party did not do more. The only thing I would say the Unity Party did not do in the Southeast was they did not employ local watchers in the Southeast to man their vote. But in the first round of campaign, the Unity Party decided to do an octopus campaign, if you notice what they were doing. So they have people spread all over the country, senators that were supporting them, they sent senators to those regions that they were from, including Ambassador Barker went to Lofa and Prince Johnson went to Nimba, Youngly went to Bassa, and that was how they did their campaign. And the reason why they did an octopus campaign, it is because the campaign was not fully funded. Unity Party is out of funds. So the senator could not go to the 15 subdivision. So they decided to do an octopus campaign. And when President William left from the Southeast, or while he was still in the Southeast, but when he left in Maryland County, what's his name? The GP went to Maryland, and the people in Maryland said that Ezra mission was done. The BSD sent for Ezra mission from Limba and brought it to Maryland County. Okay. So the campaign did what they could have done. The only thing they didn't do was they did not employ local workers to mend their vote. That was one of their mistakes. Now, if you ask me, I would say if there's a possibility in 10 days for Ambassador Barker to go to the Southeast, he can do it. But again, the campaign is not funded, so they can put in whatever strategy they can to make sure to win this election, because the Liberian people are depending on it to win this election, because the CDC-led government have done nothing that they would deserve a second term. I'll leave it at that for now.
Thank you so much. Okay, that's what. Let's go to this number here. 470 number 7225. Good evening, caller. What's your name and where you calling from? Let's hear you. Are you there, caller? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Cole.
Yeah. Good evening. What's your name?
Thank you so much.
Where are you calling from?
Well, this is Steve Willie from Atlanta, Georgia.
Welcome to the show. Let's hear you.
Thank you. Well, what I would like to firstly say is that the Unity Party or the rescue team should go to the Southeast, trusting the fact that the citizens of the Southeast, other people have said they have voted for William. But the difference will be made in this runoff. The reason is simple. Like Terry was talking about the way Fagon is trying to present, the Southeasterners in the government. That is a fact. Nobody is there to dispute that. It is a fact. But this is a disappointment.
If you look at what Samuel Doe did when he became president, 1980, the typical example is Zwedru, the Zwedru Hapo Highway project or Ganta Hapo Highway project. It was good, everything was better. Those indicated that he came from the Southeast. Now, for me, my point is, in terms of support, if I'm going with that, it's not about traveling election or whatever thing, but we need to ask ourselves, with almost 89 or 90% of top government officials coming from the Southeast, and see the living condition of the Southeasterners. You want to believe that? It's unbelievable. And that is my concern when Agon is pledging the fact that the entire government, besides Joe Howard Taylor, is from the Southeast. You want to believe that all you are from the Southeast and the people of the Southeast, they are suffering such a way? It's unbelievable. And that is why Unity Party have to go there. The people are resolved. They are saying exactly what their insurance and brother have done to them. Nobody should fear. You know, like what happened to what happened in Zwedru the other day. Somebody will say, well, that's the reason why people without Putin, in terms of the guys in Zwedru trying to, stop the Unity Party from having a rally and all that kind of thing. But this time around, they need to go there. Because our own children, I have followed them. They did not even say anything based on the question that they were asked. What did these people do? Jalawa Tompo, somebody to call his name. He's from refugee. He could not explain to get tangible that the rest of them that are in the government have done for the people in the Southeast. So Pagon is right in that direction. Typical example, as I'm saying, is what Gold did when he became president. He for the Southeast. We are saying the mark. If they were to come back today, we'll elect him. So somebody coming from the Southeast, and there's no road, there's no equipment, there's no medication, staff, nurses are not paid, teachers are all volunteer for over so many years. No, we have to stop this. So Unity Party, the rescue team must go there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Views and opinions expressed on this network.
So can I say something to that?
I'll be like, yeah. I come to you, and I know we talk about this yet, saying it and not making it to manifest into reality, to make it more concrete. What he's saying is abstract. You are not having a dialogue. You are not having a conversation. Yes, it is true. You have all of these people. Samuel Doe was president. The highway that went to Cape issue are gone to Grangida. So this whole thing, or let's say the whole southeastern, maybe Grangida, all the way to Sano. That did not happen. So this thing here, there's a genesis of this whole thing here. But our point here is you can use this thing to cut through the gap. And I think that's what Terry is pushing. When you sit down there, you talk about it. Yes, you talk about it. It has to manifest. Go there and have a conversation. Do not be judgmental. In as much you can be judgmental by saying those people in government, but go and have a conversation. Hey, make it to look like a buku man. Like brother man say, demonizing. Politics is all about to demonize people. You point out those concrete. Among the 10 to 5 people that are there will be some free thinker to say, wait a minute, this guy is saying something. But he draws a conclusion, then guess what? What are people going to do? They're going to transform that, reconstruct it to say it's like they hate you people from this region. This is why he did not even show out. You are not important to the process. You are not being seen as anyone who is significant. Whether with you, without you, we can get it done. So we are taking a holistic approach to this whole thing here. Whoever this is where the temperaments of our politicians is lacking. Anybody who have a strong view or disagree with them, they don't want to have a conversation. Let me bring you in, Terry.
Yeah, you see, what I was trying to say, that guy don't understand. I live among the quiet people, the cool people. I live in Lokintown. I grew up in Lokintown. So I know how the cool people react to things. I'm not a cool man. I'm from Maryland County, but I even know my So I grew up in Monrovia. But I live in the bracket of cool people. When a cool man, this is the first time in our history where a man that they believe, that what Mr. Cummings said, that they believe to be a cool man emerged to power. This has been the cool people dream. All right? He emerged to power and all of that. So every time they see President Weah, whether he do something or not, there is a sense of sympathy. They see with President Dole. There is a sense of sympathy that comes. If I'm a cool man and I see President Weah, there is a sense of sympathy that comes to me that makes me to feel attached to him one way or the other. That bond, you cannot easily break it. So if you begin to highlight all the government officials in the government that are from the Southeast, you are literally telling the people that this particular government is a Southeastern government. So then you're going to tell the Southeastern to vote out a Southeastern government? Is that the message you want to send to them? So I'm not saying that what Fagon is saying is not true. What Fagon is saying is true, but that message is not a good message to send to the people of the Southeast if you intend to gain advantage over their votes. Even it's not good for Montserrado County because you have Southeasterners too in Montserrado County. All right? Like West Point, like Newtown, Lockingtown. President, we are stronghold. Look at the gap. Look at the margin that Unity Party is leading in Montserrado County, that is leading President Weah. You know how many thousands of votes came from Montserrado County? Then you go and tell the people that the government that you telling them to remove from power is a Southeastern government. Then you telling them that they should remove a Southeastern government from power. Then you hoping to gain advantage in the camp. To me, that is not a good way to do a propaganda.
Okay, well, let's be honest. I got one thing to play here before we wrap up for this net here. Mala Jones, yeah. we are caught in the corridor now. Mm-hmm. So how can politicians retweet, reconstruct, and get this message here? Because I mean, travel thing, obviously we can't just easily undo it, but there should be a way that we should figure out, even if it is existing, to cut through that corridor. Sure. If you were advising, if you are providing counsel to Ambassador Weka, it'd be like, okay, you know what? No matter what you do, these people, their mind already made up. It will be a waste of resources. Do not go there, or go there. That's part of this. They need to hear from you.
Okay. First thing, let us establish that CDC is currently on the defensive right now. And the Unity Party is currently on the offensive. So the Unity Party will need to come up with a whole lot of strategy right now. One of the callers just said they had the auto-pause campaign strategy. People going here, people going there, people going there. I don't think it worked for Unity Party. I think what's going to work for Unity Party now, I think Komi just said it, and I even elaborated on it. Get these people from their tribal setting or from these counties to run the campaign there and speak the language of the people. If it don't happen, that one mistake that went on, if it don't happen, and the second thing is that the Unity Party stand-up bearer will have to rent a helicopter to visit the Southeast to make some little difference. So this is the fact. That was one error that was made. And if they don't work on that error, and the caller even said the party is suffering from serious cash problem. Politics is not for students, it's not for kids. If you're not prepared, don't get involved. The CDC is using extra cash. They get so many resources, and so they're taking advantage in this election. So if we are seeing that CDC don't have money, I mean, if we see that United Party don't have money to go to other places, then we are is going to take this election. So the question now is, are we prepared to look into all the ills? If the answer is yes, the United Party will have to wake up and move on, because I see that the auto-pause campaign strategy they brought in the round one, it helped them a little bit, all right? But it did not help them enough. For instance, if you put all the Southeastern county together, you will have 3,000, you will have 307,000 votes. If the United Party just win totally, just win Nima County with 300,001, it can cover all for that. But that is impossible. Because from the first round, I see Joe, we are picking off from places that is even troubling. Like for instance, Monserrado County, the highest, okay? Joe, we are got bit and pieces from there. Bon County, he got bit and pieces from there. Lofa County, he got bit and pieces from there.
Magibby as
And
well.
he used the Southeastern to boost his number. If the United Party don't break that defense line, the United Party going to cry round 2. I yield.
Comments?
Look, just to buttress what
What should really be the fun push here? Not the sort of a little bit distraction.
messaging.
The winning process.
Messaging. Listen, they made some gain in the Cape Man, the bombing area, Magibby, Lofa, Nimba. What can we do now? Let's go for the Southeast. Let's go for the Southeast. Change your message. Change the strategy. Go to the Southeasterners. Speak their vernacular. Talk to your people. Talk to them. Get their sons involved. We already made some headway in the other countries. So let's go to the Southeast. Let's break across the line. The defensive line that that CDC is putting up. Let's throw some men behind the number 4, the number 5 person. Let's beat the 3 and 2. Let's go beyond there with a different kind of approach, a different message. Look, Mr. Soul, let me say this, just for history's sake. I hope you find time and bring the other caller on who say I'm the one running with that message. I'm a student of history. When I did an interview with the late Reverend Emmanuel Buya and that of Sheikh Kafuma Konen, beautiful interview. I wish I still had a tip. What we're talking today, Sheikh Kafuma Konen, the late, peace be to his ashes, and the late Reverend Emmanuel Jonathan Buya made reference to this 2008 in an exclusive interview, Summercast with them. They said this, I'm the guy who keep record, especially when it comes to these politicians. They were talking about messaging. How do we get our people to collaborate? How do we bring our people together to set aside the issue of ethnicity? Like Terry said earlier on, look in that Southeast. If you are indeed from a particular place, people will see your work. Bacchus Matthew, was he not from Grand Bassa County? He became a public relations officer for OTC. And the list go on and on. Change your message. Go to the people. Go to the Bassa people. You get Yombly now. Don't put her on an auto pause in Bombing County. Put her on an auto pause in Sano, River Cess, and Grand Bassa. If there's a need to take her to Grand Cru, take her to Grand Cru with somebody who understands the crew language, the crew vernacular, and go with Balu in the Maryland end. Go with some other people in Grand G there and River G. You got Jonathan Sibwe from River G. Let him lead a delegation and canvass. Because look, Mr. Mali said this thing, and some of the people are just emotionally charged. Our country is going in a direction that has never been in for many years.
Right.
For many years. And some people are underestimating these things and say because President Weah was their friend and President Weah was this. When you, as a salesperson, cannot even sell a Toyota Corona to me, this government could not even sell a Toyota Corona to me. So that is to tell you that for 6 years, they never performed. 6 years, Madam Salif, at least they did something. They did something. The first year, they did something tangible because they were working with GMAP. This group, accountability is their problem. Their messaging is bad and porous.
Okay.
Has not helped the country.
Moderator, Mr. Kumi just said something I just wanted to add to it. Why it's true that the United Party in this first round may gain in so many places you just listed. Let's get back to 2017. United Party may gain in 10 of those counties. When it came to round 2, we are took all those counties, including Bapolu, and left with United Party with Lofa County. So we got to be referring to all the errors because something went wrong somewhere. So if you make the gain there, you will have to sustain no gain. The messaging got to stay there until election day. But if
I think, Mr. Mali, I think they started a process. If you notice, the people from the Bapolu end, the people from the Cape Ma end, the people from Lofa and Nimba, they're now using their vernaculars on Facebook to sustain or maintain what they did. So they now need to focus on the Southeast, since indeed now the Southeast is the one that is in the entire hula balu. Let's go for the Southeast.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back in the last 5-minute segment, what is happening in the security war in Liberia? We'll be right back. Okay, we are extremely over time here now, so let's have this here. I'm going to play this and we're going to use 5 minutes to wrap it up. What is happening? Very strange in the security war in Liberia at the time. A consequential election. Front page. Liberia, Armed Forces of Liberia arrest, interrogates Deputy NSA Director Omen Sant, as he always called it, Omen Sant, over criticizing the Chief of Staff on Freedom FM. This is the genesis of this whole thing here. Let's play this here.
All of them. And what carry people, there's no military code of justice that can be respected in the military because of Prince Johnson. All the thing I know about it, I get all the information, I've been having it. So that thing that they on there, so I get time for whatever who say what. The other thing I care about anybody in this country when I be telling you, this country will be liberated and no evil person will survive in this country because we'll put all of your osa. The level of your. Thank God the military is in tight. It is divided. We just don't have control over the military as we speak. So if those of you officers who voted against president, we are big, you're not money for that because I Joseph Boaka man there. So maybe you what they call. Please reconsider because we will get on that. I can assure you, I can guarantee you people, if there were any reason I was angry, I can guarantee you people I'm on that man. I beg you, I will your phone. You don't get vexed. We'll take him on. We'll take him on. I will take him on. I'm saying it that way. With evidence, I will do that because I got it.
Okay. Freedom FM.
Radio.
Deputy. I didn't see, maybe Jura can bring me to a point. I don't know how it even happened, but Liberia is a different world by itself. I never heard of Patrick. Hold on 1 second. Let me just score this here. I didn't see those. They are Patrick Minico. I run this. Freedom FM seems to be one of the mouthpieces of the GOL now. Omer Sensayon say I was humiliated, according to what front page reported on the orders of arrest of Chief of Staff because, and this is dangerous for the country. This is joint security. They should team up. They should work. They should be on the alert with what is happening in the country now. That is, Chief of Staff is a operative of Ambassador Joseph Newman Boyka. You heard that from Abraham Gosson Wind saying that when up escalated, he was arrested. I'm not sure what's going to happen, what is going on now. Should we be concerned here, Terry?
Well, yes, I think we should, because if journalists, can begin to threaten the army, then you might ask yourself, where does it come from? What is the source? What gave him that power to speak the way he spoke? As you just listen to him, and you yourself knowing to be a trained journalist, you know what it means. Like radio.
I would take him on. So he said you're going to take him on. That's a fight.
Yeah, he said he's going to take him on. And he not only say he's going to take him on, he's saying that the army is divided. Do you know what it means? That is a national security threat.
Yeah.
He said the army is divided. So are you telling us that we don't know
why
we're going to election everybody there thinking that it's safe. Our whole army is divided. Is that a message you're trying to send?
He doesn't have control.
And the worst thing about it, our president has said nothing. You know, that is what fear, that is what is threatening to me the most. That when these kind of major things happen in the country, President Weah do not respond. You know, these are things. So I really want to believe that if I were President Weah, that radio station will be shut down for now, or that guy will be fired. He will not even be suspended. He will be fired. And
Sherry, formerly on the same freedom here, denigrated, disgraced, and abused the vice president. Nothing happened. And he was transferred and was elevated to CEO of Voice of Liberia. So why should Gosden William be treated differently?
Because you can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. Like what Mr. Cummings said. Not because the other person did it, so you should do it as well. You came with the message of change. That is the reason why the Liberian people are fighting to take power back from you now. Because what you came with, you are not portraying it. You said Ellen Johnson government was corrupt, she was this, she was that. So you came to change all of that. And that is why the people overwhelmingly voted for you. But the people are seeing that you are worse than the Ellen-led government. So that's the reason why they want to take you
from There's a state of confusion here. Let me bring in Mally Jones here, the independent guy. Maybe he will give an independence analysis on this here. There's a state of confusion here. We also been here. We have also heard in the past the chief of staff have talked a lot. He has said some things. Whether he was questioned in the joint security, whether the president called on him, because he said before in the past, you remember that people called on him to overthrow. And there were text messages and all of that. He knows the people in the diaspora, and out of that, nothing. So Jones, here we are now. The chief of staff is being accused of being an operative of a major opposition. Journalist is now having the narrative the army is divided. He does not have control over the army.
Well, I think first of all, we need to acknowledge that freedom of speech and freedom of expression are guaranteed under our Constitution. You take responsibility for your utterances and your actions. So he has expressed his freedom of speech and it's being guaranteed by the Constitution. And I strongly believe that sometimes we can cross the line. And when you cross the line, you will have to bear the consequences for crossing the line. So if we do believe as a society that the guy has abused his freedom of speech or freedom of the press or freedom of expression, I think he should be taken to court if we so believe that. But the issue of making your speeches with threat beneath that can only be decided by a court of competent jurisdiction.
Okay.
Yes. So a public opinion can express their feeling that this is from public opinion. Someone would say, well, what he said this, the issue about the army disclosing. But personally, I feel when the security apparatus now holding together, they tend to metamorphose into a public relation agent and talking too much, because agents of the security apparatus are not supposed to be talking so much. And the journalists too, you should be mindful what you say. You could be held liable and taken to court. So I see from what you just showed here, this whole expression was characterized by emotion. And you can't go in you cannot be held responsible for something and say, oh, it was slip of tongue. No, you will have to pay the price in the court because probably you have just crossed the line.
And your killer speaking. Cummings, let's wrap it all here. I see your hair is spinning. Like, what the heck is going on? What is that?
Because
out of here and this and that. Yeah.
because having worked in the media for years is just laughable. I'll give you one typical example. When I was radio and television manager for Benin Uri radio station, the late Tom Kamara, when the case started with Charles Taylor in The Hague, I was training to go to The Hague to cover the story. And Tom Kamara wrote something. Then he made mention that all the guys that work with Uri are a bunch of rebels. So I was in a training section with Joe, the late Professor Molba. So my guys called me and they said, Chief, we'll not stand down. I said, no, you're relax. We'll stand down. Mr. Uri called me and said, Gerard, the ball is in your court. I said, Chief, relax. Everybody need to stand down. When I got to the office, the guys explained to me, I said, gentlemen, we'll fire back if Tom Kamara redo the story. So he did. He wrote the story. Then I said, well, the PUL, neither the Justice Ministry can stop us. I instructed the newspaper, the television, the radio station. I said, fire back. When we fire, the Justice Minister, who was then a good friend to me, Councillor Morris, called me. She said, Gerard, you're a smart young man. You understand the ethics of journalism. I said, read Tom Kamara's paper. Then you will understand that somebody needed to respond to him. And so since I was familiar with some of the stories, I asked my people to respond. But when you have a boss who is in the government, Mr. Soul, and something happened and you work at his radio station, you have to put into practice the ethics of journalism. What you say on the radio has the propensity to sway the minds of the people to do the right thing or do the wrong thing. I think my good friend Abraham need to check some break. He really need to check some break, because what I heard, I never heard it from Kiss FM. We came into the picture right after Kiss FM. Okay, we came into the picture after Kiss FM, even though I was at a Christian radio station. But when I became manager, most of the guys came from Kiss FM. But because I was trained by a different kind of group that taught us what to do, how to do it in case something should happen. I mean, you were an access-free traveling ban for years, but that institution was not challenging the government in no way, in no day. Neither were we saying some things. Even there were some stories that we could take on the government. I kept telling my guys, look, let's follow the ethics. Let's follow the ethics. This is our boss. And every time Yuri would make a call to me, I say, Chief, stand up. We got it.
All right.
So I think he made some good point, but you can tell from the tone, the language, the body expression, or the sentiment was too high.
In 30 seconds each, runoff. Tari, what would be your surprise?
Well, my surprise will be to see that Ambassador Boyka is number one on the ballot and number one on the wing. All right. That will be my expectation, and I will be surprised, and I'm waiting for that surprise package. Most of the time, people's surprises can be on the contrary, but this one, I'm confident that even though we have some intricacies and some difficult times, I trust that they are going to recalibrate and mitigate everything that is supposed to do in order to emerge victorious. I believe 100% that these elections will fall in favor of Ambassador Joseph Yima Boyka. But to close on this, there is something the guy said that I want to correct. Or one of your callers, he said something about, Darius Dillon. I mean, he said something that Unity Party did not send nobody in the Southeast. That is not true. Darius Dillon said publicly that Unity Party had, besides Unity Party, the entire alliance, they had pool washer in every polling place, in every polling station. And he said, if you did not see the Unity Party symbol, that does not mean that they did not have pool washer there, because MDR there, NDR went there, Mandela Cooper, so they had, those people had the symbol on. So then because you didn't see Unity Party, so that means they were not there. So he said Unity Party have pool washer in every polling place in the entire country. All right. And I just wanted to make that correction. And also to Prophet Gerald, you know, I think like something you said when you said about,
or you want to tell us
yeah,
second?
yeah, but something he said about President Weah, about his mom and him not being from there. Sometimes people can be adopted, and by the adaptation, they become part of that particular society. So you also got to take that into consideration. So if this woman literally like adopted, you know, Ambassador Weah, because we all heard some terrible story about the abandonment of his father abandoning them, you know, and all those kind of thing, and the kind of way he grew up. That was a terrible experience. So if this lady adopted him, he automatically become part of the cool people. Yeah, that is what I think. I want.
Malajon, are you sending a note? Who is sending a good note to? So let me ask you.
Ask who?
I said, let me just ask you now in 30 seconds. Maybe you can go the same 30 second Terry Wayne. Yeah. Look, what should we expect in this runoff from the opposition, the government? If you care to respond to both of us, what's his anticipation?
Well, I always try to refer to history, but one thing we should expect now is like in 2017, the first round, after the first round, Joseph Boakai relaxed, and it was very devastating for him. So this round now, I don't want for the Unity Party to relax. But the statement, the speech Joseph Boakai gave is a very fine speech, but there are too many holes in that speech. You can say, I'm prepared to extend olive leaf to other people. No, he has to reach out. He has to call people to meeting. He has to he can't just make open political statement. No. All right. And Joseph Boakai cannot just go alone in this thing. It happened the last time. And he tried, it's going to be a problem. He has to reach out. In the first place, he has to reach out to Ako, Lucini Camara, who one of the top player in this closing election, round one. He had to reach out to Apeton Edwards of the grassroots development movement, the string politician. I don't know what a guy's strategy is. So these two people, at least they were able to pull something. So what I'm seeing here is that the statement was very fine as a politician, but he need to invite these people to meeting and they discuss the modality. Yes.
Okay.
Discuss the modality and talk about the way forward and share the government. That's the bottom line there. The government must be shared so that people can pull their support. Don't forget, all the other opposition then that got defeated, they already packed their suitcases and left. They are partisan, and most of them will remain neutral in this thing. Except you reach out to them. If you don't reach out to them or talk to their people to reach out to them, they may not want to vote for CDC. They may not want to vote for Unity Party. They may just be in between there. But the question, the question now is, if we are saying in principle, Georgia is taking the country in the wrong direction, should we now hold together and get this guy up? But again, it becomes impossible because Georgia has got a huge chunk of these people behind. Whether they believe, whether they go in the wrong direction, I don't think they even believe that.
Let's leave it there. We'll see who's the final.
Okay.
General legendary comments. So let actually, there seems to be whether it's a political sympathy or empathy, whatever it is. Who do you think is feeling this political pressure as we enter this runoff? The president, Ambassador Boakai, and who is vulnerable to grapple? Politicians are very calculated. They're going to look at the political wavelength. No politician wants to be defeated. Even if they are defeated somehow, How will we be surprised, or will you be surprised to see some strange political decisions are made because of political purposes in terms of where they're going to be going? Unmute your mic. Is it from me?
Okay, I got it. I got it.
Yeah, we got it.
If you recall, when a day before you guys decided to do your analysis on post-election analysis, I said when the votes start to come in, you're going to see a huge number coming from Ambassador Boaka. And I'm going to say this. Mr. Mali said something earlier on. He talked about the reluctance during the second round of the 2005 election, 2017, 2018 election. We saw a replica of that same thing during the 2005 election from the CDC. The reluctance that they won the election, so they will not go back in force with the election during the 2005 presidential and general election. So I don't think the Unity Party will sit with their hands between their legs. I think they're going to put up a staunch negotiation techniques to give President Weah a competitive second round, because they did the first round. Being around for 6 years, I just thought that these guys will put up a fight that they will win this thing in the first round. So I see a competitive negotiation process that will come from the Unity Party, because the pressure is on them. Liberians want to see a change, so the pressure is on them. And in terms of reaching out to ACO, I see that there will be a game play between ACO. The CDC will reach out to ACO, but I don't think Lieutenant Camara, who I know very well, will let go what transpired at his party headquarters. Even he's a man of peace, but he's a man with principles. So I want to see whether he will bend those principles to say, I will go with these guys, provided what transpired on this day. So I see a competitive race, and the Unity Party will put up a staunch fight.
Who will, quickly here, we are going, campaign is, or at this point in time now, it comes with resources and the financial capability. This is what we call financial violence. It's about to take place because it's all about deal cutting. In the last campaigns of Hillary Clinton with Donald Trump, the last 2 weeks, over $192 million slamming, using art and all of that here. And we're going to see the financial power now. Will CDC financial power subdue to Unity Party? Was there anything that would have changed the narrative? Politicians to go for a lot of bizarre things. Finances, were they kicking in this place here, or what? Yes, no. Kumis.
I think with John Malou being in their corner, he's good at negotiating, good at helping to raise funds. Dylan and the marketeers, the ordinary people. I told you the people started something in the diaspora and started something back home. So they will put up some fight. I know the incumbent now sit on the coffers, but will they not pay the people for November when we'll be approaching December, right after the process?
Okay. Mali Jones, are you worried about who has the financial resources to execute an effective campaign?
Oh, yes. And in fact, I can see CDC is going to exploit UP cash vulnerability. They will exploit it.
All right, Terry. Mali is kind of trying to distance himself from you now. We are about to go. See where he trying to put you in harm's way. Do you see that?
Well, I see that, but to be honest with you, they tried it. If they tried it in the first round and it didn't work, when they had all the money that they could win a first round victory, to an extent, they printed placards and posters and had T-shirts with first round victory on it. And if they were not successful, I doubt that they are going to be successful this time.
the best of commentators, analysts, independent, sometimes becomes a little bit dependent. Nally Jones, thank you so much. Comments. Look, hopefully time will chip in. I think the second day run of a consequential. We intend to give it as much conversation we can. Terry, a great guy. Thank you so much, guys. And of course, all our viewers, our listeners, your comments, your tweet, your time with us. So remarkable and rewarding. Gentlemen, have a pleasant evening.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Well, that does it this evening is 8:35. 8:35? What the heck am I talking about? 10:35 Eastern Standard Time. We want to thank all of our viewers and listeners. Your time this evening. Insurmountable guy, Joe, Dorothy, Dasiu, to say thank you so much. Count Doyle, man, Achimo, David Sengwit, and all of our great people. We are General We Are. I love this one. We are General We Are. That's a cool one. Praying Peters, thank you so much for your commitment always to this network. Your comments, your tweets are always a turning point for us. Bolu Queen May, thank you so much for being here. Tricon Smith, and all of our great guys. Kevin Croman, Prosper Terry, Richardson Pay, Felicia Hall, Morris Engray. All of you great guys. If this is your first time on this network, we say we are wholeheartedly welcome you. If you don't have a home network, you maybe have your home network. Also, make part of your diary to turn into us. We need your conversations. We need your participations, your comments, your tweet. I follow, like Republic Radio via Facebook, YouTube, our Twitter feed, and then LinkedIn, and all of these major social media outlets. And don't hesitate to send your comments. You have the right to agree, disagree with us. Long time. How you doing? Hopefully you are doing great in Australia there this morning. Nina, Banning, all of you people, we just say thank you so much for all your support. Zeman Angis, Philip Roberts as well. Emma Brown, we say thank you so much, all of you guys. Keep your comments, you can send in your suggestions. If you want to be a contributor to this network, it is at no cost. Our goal is to have as much Liberians engaged, male, female, young, old. Let's have a national conversation. We want to incorporate the voice, views, opinion. Do not allow anybody to intimidate you, to sanction your good ideas that you have for the country. No matter what, people will disagree and agree, but your conviction can lead you to express your own mind for your country. Do not allow anyone to suppress that. We don't curse, we don't abuse here. We disagree, we have an argument. In an argument, we have an intellectual engagement, and we'll conclude the night. You have been so much supportive to us here by just only listening, not just only financial. You take up time. For those of you in Liberia, outside of the USA, it's morning hour, you should be in your bed. Not that you don't have anything to do, but because you love your country and you want to know what is happening within your country. This is why we try as much as possible to make the news fair, balanced, and proportional. With your convictions, sometimes we say a thing that does not suit your political taste. Yet, the next day, the next event, you are here to listen to us because you do not take it personal, but you see it as a healthy conversation for the good of the country. And that's what we want to encourage. Be it seditions, whatever partisans you are, we strongly believe no one should be left behind in the national conversations of our country. Until then, folks, have a pleasant evening. By God's willing, we'll be back here with more programming. I'm Alfonso Ziensos, signing off. In tonight's edition, LPR-TV Live with the analysts. Have a pleasant night, pleasant morning. I will see you. Beautiful weekend. Bye-bye.